What's up? You awake?
Yes.
Yes, he says. It's you. You just squeeze. Squeeze. I got new ones. Even your muscles can't mess it up. Ha ha ha, maybe not. All right, good morning. Hi. If you're not up here, come on up here. So, good morning. We only have a couple. Is that me? What is that? What are you guys doing to my soundboard? Tanner, move. Hi. Is it me? I don't know what's... Oh, you guys are the worst. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, good morning. Hello. There are very few announcements this morning, so we're going to go pretty quick. Yay. Bible study.
Middle school boys Bible study, 10 Commandments, 6 to 7:30 Mondays, and it already started.
Yeah, started last week, so it's this week again. It's every week, right? And then girls, you guys are next week? Every week. So high school girls, middle school guys, you all have a Bible study on Monday night. And then crew Wednesday night for everybody. That's the other one. So lots going on with Bible studies for you guys to get involved with. And then the other thing is, if you missed the Peru mission trip meeting last week, there was a mission trip meeting for Peru. If you missed that, there are applications back there. They're due to me next week. If you don't turn them in next week, there's no like, oh, I'll wait an extra couple weeks. Not possible. If you do not turn them in next Sunday, you're not going. Because we need to start getting passports. We need to start doing all that. We live streamed the service. So if you were part of that live stream, you can watch everything Pastor Dirk said. Yep, there it is right there. Stop. Your sheet is right there. She asked me for one. See where she's grabbing a sheet for the mission trip? Now she has one. Perfect. She's like, wait, we're not sitting where we used to sit. What's going on? Somebody stole my seat. So that is where you can pick those up. They are due to me next Sunday. If they are not to me next Sunday, P.S., take one for your dad too. Hey, take one for your dad too. Or mom, you need to take two. Everybody going on the trip needs to take one. So high schoolers 16 years old of age before July, this upcoming July, we are going to Peru. Make sense? Yes. Okay. You guys are all just staring at me like, so that's that. And that's it. You guys are in charge of the game. Don't screw it up.
The game is... useless trivia.
Think you know a lot? Let's put that to the test. Answer the following trivia questions and find out the among you knows the most useless trivia.
Why am I so quiet? Turn me up. Okay. Back here, I'm awesome. All right, so useless trivia. You're like, shut up. So you're going to do A is over here. You'll go stand there. B, you guys know how this works, right? C is over there. D is over there. Useless trivia.
To harmonize calendars, the Roman Empire made 46 BC an unusually long year. How many days was it? A, 368. B, 402. C, 454.
And guess what? If you stand at D, you're automatically wrong. I'm just saying.
And if you want to play, you have to stand up.
And go to the space.
I would go D.
The answer is not D. Hi. I'm not high. Hold on, I got a prize. There's a prize back here. Everybody say thanks to Shane for getting today's prize. Good job, Shane.
Thank you, Shane. My goodness.
All right, so make your final decisions in 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm clicking it. Sorry, you were sitting there. I thought you were going to click it.
454.
Just click the first one. Yep, they're going to be able to see it. So you got to just click the. There you go. And
How
then
many
scroll.
How
out.
many sides are on a tri-octagon?
Tri-octagon.
330 or 300.
Yeah, gotcha. P.S. There's crutches back here, and B, don't break his poor crutches. He needs them to walk. A, B, C. If you stand at D, you are automatically wrong.
I need someone to talk to.
I just was really bored, and I'm like, that's way too many answers. So, nobody's going for the win because that's a triangle. Duh.
30.
It's 30 sets. There you go. So the rest of you guys, sit down. There's so many of you here today, but you're so like, whew, not into it.
How many eyes does a bee have? A, 2, B, 5, C, 8.
Ha, B. I'll give you a seat back in a second. I stole Andrew's seat. Poor guy's back here, like, just sitting on the ground.
3, 2, 1. 5.
Ha, it's B. B has B. Wait, is there a winner? Oh, there's 2 left. All right. Sorry, you were hiding behind his huge head. I couldn't see it.
Oh, I got a big head, okay.
Wait, what was the little trivia? Did you know that sunflower starfish can have up to 24 eyes? 1 on the end of each leg. Whoa. Sorry.
About which percentage of Alaska's population live in
Anchorage.
Anchorage?
It's the name of the city.
A, 25%, B, 40%,
Are you just
C,
going to stay there and ride it out?
55%.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
It's B.
40.
Congratulations. You're
Yeah,
the winner.
Brady.
What grade are you in these days, Brady? 7th. All right, I got to make sure I give it to the right middle school guys group.
You win the prize.
Yay, earbuds. Round of applause. Rest of the useless trivia. How long? It is you two. I knew it. It's not me. How long did the longest Olympic wrestling match last? 11 hours.
Holy crap.
He was so tired he couldn't compete for the gold. He's like, yeah, I give up. 11 hours of wrestling. Just guys just greased up and wrestling. It's super creepy. How many kernels are on the a typical ear of corn? It is 800. What percentage of men shave every day?
60.
Not part of that percentage.
75.
Wow.
How many sweat glands does the average person have? Teenagers, I feel like, have more, and they stink worse. It is 2 million. Men, yes, you do produce more sweat than women, but you have the same amount of glands. How old was Mozart when he wrote his first symphony? 8. 15 languages, that's a little much. What's the average lifespan of a human eyelash? 150 days. 2.5 inches eyelashes. Girls would die for that. How many pounds of broccoli does the average American eat in a year? It is 5.8. That's still a lot of broccoli. That was the tiebreaker? Oh, yeah, George Bush banned broccoli from Air Force One. He hated it since he was a kid. And when you're president, you can do that. All right. Oh, yeah, you guys got key tag bingo. Last 2 numbers on your key tag.
Oh, you picked
Praise and worship team, you can head up.
35.
Is it seriously you? Yeah. You're a liar. Let me see. He literally was back here going, please pick me, please pick me, please pick me, please pick me. And then you said it. Oh, my gosh, it is 35. He did win.
Yeah, it's
Seriously, he was sitting back here going, please pick me, please pick me. All right, Tanner wins. I knew it. It was you guys. I judge you.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and stand up together. All right, we're going to sing a new one here this morning.
Just
come before you today just thankful people. God, we ask you today just to come and be with us as we hear from your word through Dwight that you've given to him. God, we just ask that you open up our hearts and our minds to hear what you have to tell each and every one of us today. Be with us throughout this week as we go into this world, and just help us to show others that we love you and help them to be able to see that. In your name, amen.
Let's go. Yeah, no rolling and bagel will be in your head all day. And then my kids hear it, and then they literally play it on Alexa, like loop. That and the taco song. It's raining tacos. Yeah, absolutely. Ruin your life. You know the songs, right? Yeah, it's messed up. I just messed up your day. I'm sorry. And I want tacos. All right, so good morning. Also, there's another announcement that I just want to put in the back of people's minds because we have some seniors here in this room. Seniors, your attendance record is important. So if you're not checking in, seniors, I can't give you scholarship money. We do a scholarship. It's literally free money by just showing up and checking in. If you're here 75% of the time, over 2 years, your junior and your senior year, and your GPA has to be 2.75. We didn't make the rules. The person that donated the money that's getting interest, that's paying out this scholarship, which is hundreds, if not thousands, depending on how many people apply for it, goes to you and your college. It's just show up and check in and like breathe in classroom every once in a while, and the scholarship's for you. So, I mean, it really isn't that hard to get this scholarship. You go to Otterbein, we give you that. So we have a lot of things. Like I said, the mission trip, it's based on, do you attend Otterbein? You're on this trip. If not, if there's any spaces left, we can add some people. We've had some requests for that as well. So it's so important for you guys to engage the ministry. That's the long and the short and the difficult. Second thing, baptism. We have 3 people that have submitted baptism forms that are getting baptized next week. We got a meeting you and me. We got to have lunch with your family. So I really encourage you over the next, we're going to do it here in about 2 more months. We'll have another baptism service. If you haven't considered baptism, if you've made a decision to follow Jesus, the next step is baptism and sitting down with me and talking about getting yourself baptized. Pretty big deal in the life of the church and in your life as well. We like to celebrate that. So baptism, we got one coming up this next week, and then in about 2 months we'll be doing it again. But you have to meet with me and you have to do a video. I know that's the tough part, but it really isn't that hard. It's super easy. Caleb does a great job with the videos as well. Baptism is we'll talk all about that if you're interested. Come see me. There's an online form that you have to fill out. And I think that is all of the sub announcements I wanted to make. We started the new year on refocusing in Christ, and I thought, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's go to the very start of creation, and let me do a sermon series based on worldly perspective. So I sent the leaders' notes out late this week because I was really into, it's hard for me to study from a world perspective because I have spent so much time as a Christian in my life. For me to read the worldly stuff about creation and how it was created, Big Bang Theory, for me, I just look at it and go, oh, what a bunch of malarkey. Because I've spent so much time in my faith and engaging God. I've seen God move so much in my life. It's hard for me to go back. So it took me a little while to put today's sermon together. Series is called In the Beginning. If you remember last week, last week, I put this picture up there. A bunch of paleontologists were given a skull, and they said, hey, put your artwork together and tell us we got this new skull. Tell us what this dinosaur should look like. And they came up with that. Pretty scary, pretty creepy. I would hate to run into that in the forest. I would be really sad, but the crazy part about it is they're like, we got you because we already have, it's a hippo. And so, that really messed with me over the week, and I'm like, wait a second. What? Hold on. I got one more picture. There's those big, scary, bottom teeth. Yeah, just coming out of his fat head. That's all that is. So I was like, in my brain, I'm like, oh, wait a second. If they got that one wrong, and we understand that if you go to the Creation Museum, for those of us that went to the Creation Museum, they said part of the spiel is most likely to conserve space, they probably took infant animals and the smaller versions of the animals so they could all fit in. That would make sense. They would all fit. And so I was like, wait a second. We have giraffes right now. What if giraffes were just the compact version of like brontosauruses? And so like my mind is totally like messing around a little bit. And then I was like, whoa, hold on. What if the greatest dinosaur we know, T-Rex, my kid plays with them. How do they know what a T-Rex sounded like? What if they purred like cats? Like, I don't know. But somehow we've like it's the big, the scary. And I'm like, wait a second. No, shut up. Let me mess with their brains a little because my wife, I kept saying it throughout the day, and she's like, you're obsessed with this. You're a freak. What if we just took the smaller version and they got the model wrong, and it's just really big kangaroos? It's messing with your brain a little bit, right? What? Could you imagine watching Jurassic Park, and instead of that, you just had this guy? Like, that's where my brain went. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. I haven't studied it well enough in their bone structure and stuff, but they kind of look alike, right? It's totally messing with your brain a little bit. What happens if that was just a big fuzzy version of that? I don't know. And so I've spent so long as a Christian that I look back at those things and I'm like, that could totally work. How is nobody saying this stuff out loud? Probably because it's live streaming right now. People are going to go back to it and be like, this is what Christian freaks think. It's not what I think. I haven't studied it out, but it makes sense. They kind of look alike. And so, yeah. Could you imagine like that scene he's chasing the car and it's just like, totally messes with how you watch that movie again. Or at the end where the banner like strips and he's like, and he's just like, just does or it wants to fight you. Like, it's really weird. Anyway, so I'm trying to do this sermon series. I want to add that because you guys are dealing with teachers that are saying, hey, the world is 50 gajillion years old, and we've carbon dated, and we've proved this, and we've done that. I really studied that. So here, let's. This is a question that a lot of students ask. You guys will ask at some point. There will be a doubt somewhere in there. Do I believe what mom and dad taught me is true? And that includes with Christianity. You got to make your faith your own. You got to understand that stuff. And so I want to play a quick game. Let's play a game. Can somebody help me out? Just come on up. Her hand went up first. I'm sorry. I just saw your hand first. You don't even need to talk in this game. All right, simple game. All I want you to do, because this is a question from a worldly perspective, prove to me you exist. Prove to me you exist. That's what I'm trying to do. What if you were a figment of my imagination, and in the live stream I look back and it's just me talking to me? Prove to me you exist. I love where this is going. Live stream can't hear what they're saying. I know it's coming here pretty soon. Prove to me you exist. Wait. I think something touched me. Now my figment of my imagination is manifesting in an elbow touch. What are some ways that they're yelling out that you can prove that you exist? They want you. So feel. I could feel you touch me. Okay, what else? How else can you prove? If I have no senses, you know those people that can't feel pain? What if I don't have senses? How could you prove that I exist? That's still feel. I can't feel it.
I was going to say you could feel my pulse, but at the same time you can't.
Okay, so can't feel. But what are some other things? Smell, yes, I could smell her. If she walked up and I closed my eyes and she put her armpit in my face, I could probably smell her. That would prove you exist. I'm doing something right now that proves that you exist. I can see you. Now, some people are like, wait a second, I'm crazy and see things that aren't there. I'm pretty sure if I watched the live stream, you'd still be there. So you're there. Hi. They're all seeing my hallucination, and so therefore I'm assuming you exist. Okay, so see, smell, teenagers stink, or maybe you smell nice. You got the little perfume on. Okay. I can hear you talking right now. Really? I know, right? So there's like, so for you to prove to me that you exist, you just have to engage what? One of the 5 senses. Okay, you have a seat. Give her a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello. So to prove somebody exists, just the simple basic concept of why are we here, we're going to get to that like really deep portion, but just to exist, just to be here, you just have to engage somebody with your 5 senses. So there's the argument of existence. And we do this all the time, and I'm going to, here's a serious topic. When we have those big discussions on abortion, something like that, something big, like, well, babies don't exist until they, breathe, right? Some people say it's breathe, and therefore they don't really exist as a human being without, well, I would say that I can prove that they exist because I can hear their heartbeat. I don't know if you've ever been around a pregnant lady, but they smell different. Ask a mom, like, what happens to all of her senses when a baby's inside of her. It totally changes how she functions, her hormones, what she wants to taste. And I wasn't going to say taste because I wasn't going to have you, like, lick my arm. That would be weird. But, like, it changed the whole chemical makeup of a mom and taste, and we can actually see them through an ultrasound. So what happens is in that argument, when we're arguing, do they exist so that if we don't want them, we don't need them to exist? It's not killing them because they don't really exist. So what they do is the argument from the world would simply say something as, they're not breathing, therefore they don't exist. That would be like telling a teenager, if you don't have armpit hair, you don't exist. Now, some of you are like, woohoo, I exist. Some of you are like, I'm not old enough to have that, you know? Does that make sense? Like they put this arbitrary thing that you will have eventually, even you girls, sorry, you get to shave, and maybe not, I don't know, whatever, that's up to you, wear deodorant. But they put this arbitrary thing that you will have one day, most of us, unless you have some kind of medical condition, and the medical condition for not breathing is dead, by the way, just in case you didn't know that. But what happens is that the world tries to argue the basic function of, do you exist? And I can say you guys exist. Most of you guys I've interacted with, and we've had a good relationship. So the next step is, do they exist? So if we understand you exist based on our interactions with our 5 senses, or some combination of those 5 senses, the next thing is, and again, we want to make sure it's just those basics. Why? Can we see that? And that's the argument we as Christians. We can hear their heartbeat. We can see them. We can see the growth. They have a potential to breathe one day. So they exist. Okay? So then let's go to, can you prove you exist in a kind way or in a mean way? So you and I exist, and I can exist. You could have punched me. Thank you for you guys saying punch or pour water. You could have existed in a rude way, or you can exist in a very nice way. She's like, meep. That was a very kind way to show you exist. You know, you guys can exist in smell by wearing deodorant, and that is a very kind way to exist. Or you can be a typical teenage boy locker room and not do that, and you walk in and you're like, sweet Lord Jesus, what just hit me in the face? You know what I'm talking about, the bag of like dance clothes. Girls, you stink too. Trust me, I'm raising children, and Selah the other day ran up to me, and she sat on my lap, and she farted, and she's like, ha, 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 ha. You know? You girls are gross too. Don't deny it. So I know she's gonna look back at this and be like, Dad, why would you say that? You're only 5. Settle down. Or 6. I don't know. She's 6. She's in 1st grade. Almost 7. She'll be 7. I know her birthday, so we're good. So we can exist in a kind way or a rude way. So not only do we have this idea of existence, you and I understand cognitively existence. We understand that we can exist together in a rude or a mean or a kind way. We can punch, we can hit, we can say foul language, we can do that. But here's the thing. I can formulate the value of the relationship we can have, and others can do this to you as well. Like people, when you start to make friends, Selah and my kids right now, they walk into a store and they're like, hey, what's your name? If a kid looks similar to them, like age-wise, they look in and they're like, hey, what's your name? Oh, my name is Sue. Hi, Sue, you want to be best friends? Like, that's all it takes for them to exist in harmony together. You look about my age and I want to have some fun, so let's do it together, right? That's like and then somewhere along the way, you and I learn how to evaluate each other's existence. And so if somebody is punching you on a regular basis, if somebody's saying foul language on a regular basis, and you don't enjoy that, we start to weigh our existence. Do I want to be in a relationship? Do I want to continue being friends with this person? Do I want to date this person? And so we start to, here's the crazy thing about this. And I love you guys as teenagers because this is probably the funniest part about you guys being teenagers. All of you guys will eventually want to start dating. And right now, some of you guys are like, oh, girls, that's fine, whatever. But eventually you'll be interested because what's going to happen is all 5 of those senses, you're going to go, this is so pleasing. She looks pretty. She smells good. One day I want to smooch her and see if she tastes like bubble gum. Like we can go down the list and we can go, and that's what happens. That's like the only criteria that we have for like the beginning stages of dating. There's no like moral function. You're just like, she's so hot. Dude, have you seen him? So dreamy. Like that's the criteria of they exist. They even know I exist. Woohoo, that's a plus. I've engaged my senses against them, and it's all pleasing, therefore they're the one. And it happens all the time, and then all of a sudden they're not the one, because what ends up happening? You start talking, and like not that beginning, like, I like long walks on the beach, and I like movies and Star Wars, and you're like, oh my God, he's perfect for me. All of a sudden you start engaging this 4th step of creation and design. As crazy as this is all part of creation and design. And I'll show you a video of what, I'll get to that second. So who gets to pick what interactions are good? You know, some people in this world, some people love their like stupid nicknames. Some people hate stupid nicknames. Some people, so when you like get a girlfriend and she calls you that name and it drives you nuts, just tell her it drives you nuts. And then all of a sudden she's like, but you don't like me? And then all of a sudden we start having these like negative interactions. And so who gets to decide which interactions are good and bad? And so here's the crazy part about it. We start deciding our relationships. You start having conflict with mom and dad. Even though they love you and they want you to be successful, well, I don't want to take the trash out. You guys have done that. I know you guys have done that. And you fly off the handle. Why? Because that's not fun for me. That my existence involves this. And doing this extra stuff is, ooh, I don't like that. Therefore, our relationship must be bad, right? My parents are my teacher's making me do homework. Therefore, I hate them. No, that's not how that works. Your teachers are trying to teach you discipline and structure. They're trying to teach you how to be a decent human being further down so that when you get into those dating relationships and their structure and their form, here's the crazy part, guys, some guys over here, but guys, listen to me, guys. Eventually, like when you cook dinner and you're like, babe, I made you dinner, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, grilled cheese, you're amazing. Eventually, you guys just have to make dinner to survive. Like, it's no longer, like, cute. Like, it's, ladies, same thing. Like, then all of a sudden, you get into the real of who humanity is. Friendships are more than just like, let's go jump off of a cliff. Yeah, let's jump off a cliff. That's amazing. This is great. And then all of a sudden, something happens in your life, and you have to show up for them, and, like, maybe you have to miss an event because they're having a bad day, and you just need to be there for them. And you're like, wait a second. Like, but I want to work inside of my fun, like, worldly stuff. But then all of a sudden these things called morals and kindness and emotions get in there. And so this existence is really kind of crazy when you guys are evolving through it. We'll use that evolution word because everybody evolves through. First, we realize we exist. Then we realize each other exists. And then we get to start having interactions with people and deciding what is favorable interactions and if you want to hang out with people and you want to be part of their life. And so are they good and bad? And then all of a sudden what happens is God in his wisdom, as crazy as it sounds, you can choose the worldly standards. Like, I want to go do this thing, drinking, whatever it is that the worldly standard says you can go do. Worldly legal standards, too. Let's put that in there just in case your parents are like, you told my kids to go drinking? Legal standards. Legal standards. God in his wisdom aligned morality from the very beginning. Science tells you you're evolving and figuring it out, and what's appropriate today can be different tomorrow, and this law can change, and this can happen, and so therefore this, like back in the Roman Empire, you and I would blush at what they were doing back then as just part of common practice. You'd have multiple wives, women, you guys were just kind of like objects of our possession as men. Slave trading was common practice, and you guys would go, wait, what? Yeah, the world evolves what is right based on what feels good. If you've never read the book of Judges, and everybody did what was right in their own minds. And so it was a bad time. The cool part about Christianity side of things is God from the very beginning says, I know you exist because I designed you. I want you to have good relationships, including with me, and when you mess them up, yes, discipline has to be part of it, and this is how we restore a relationship. And so he gave all these rules and regulations that we're like, rules and regulations, I don't like it. But he says, hey, if you want to have a good existence, if you want to progress through you exist, I designed you and loved you, I want you to have a good experience. I want you to have friends and dating relationships. One of my earliest commands is be fruitful and multiply. So I want you to get married, and when mommy and daddies love each other very much, that's another sermon series. But when that happens, we start to realize that God designed this from the beginning. So those are the standards in which we could probably hold to so that we have a good existence. And yet sometimes you and I decide, but it feels good. I like this worldly standard. It might hurt somebody else, but I'm going to feel awesome. I'm going to call them a mean name. I'm going to belittle them. I'm going to punch them. I'm going to laugh at it, but they're definitely not. And that is the constant struggle of existence from the very beginning. We look at the beginning of the biblical times, Cain and Abel. Oh, you gave a better offering, and I hate you for being better than me, and so I'm just going to take a rock and smack you in the head, because that sounds like it escalated really quickly, because it did. So hold on. Let me preface this really quick. So there's this video. There's these guys that have had a debate for a very long time. And one of the things that you're going to ask as you evolve through your guys' learning who you are, learning how the world functions, learning how to get rid of the things. So a lot of times what ends up happening is we maintain bad relationships because we don't want to hurt we want to be the good person. We want to be the better person. The Bible is very much like, hey, if things aren't working out, you need to leave those and build relationships. That's why we in the church say, hey, you should do faith together. Why? Because we all have the same moral standards of what should be good instead of like what other people feel should be good. And so my ultimate encouragement is, I believe Christian relationships are the best ones. Dating relationships, because you guys all have the same standard. We open the Bible and go, that's the standard. That's so easy to have good relationships because God designed it. And yeah, there's some rules and regulations, but if you live inside of those, it's a lot of fun. And so the world says, yeah, just figure out what your fun is. And then you go do that. Usually that involves people getting hurt on a regular basis. But as long as you're having fun, it's amazing, right? The worldly standard's so hard. So there's this professor that there's this debate, and that's what we're going to watch. It's about 3 minutes long. There's this debate, and what's even cooler about this, one of the students in the high school boys class that I got to sit in last week, I got a hair, whoop, high school boys class last week was like, dude, have you seen this video? He had no idea that I was already studying this topic out. I was already had this video queued and ready to go to have this. These are the God moments, and I'm like, man, this just proves that God continues to line things up, because This student had no idea, but he's like, you got to see this video because this helps me understand God's existence. Because you and I, we exist here. So then how does God exist? If there's no Big Bang Theory, then where did God come from? And you'll all ask that question. And this professor, I could stand up here and try to re-give his answer, but he does it really, really well, so why would I try to reinvent the wheel? This is the God I believe in, and if you listen to him, based on everything I just said, you exist for a purpose and a reason, you have a creator and a designer who gives us rules, structures, so that we can live a really good life, and if we follow them and we engage them, things go really, really fun. Trust me, I love being an adult. I love making money. I love having kids. I love having a wife. I love having all these things, but you know what? Here's the crazy thing. You know, the rules don't say that I can't cheat on my wife, but I understand if I do, I ruin all the rest of that stuff. So I stick within the rules and the regulations because I love the rest of the stuff too. And I love my wife, please. I love you, wife. I wouldn't do that because there is a both and. I lose it all because I don't stick inside the rules. And some of you guys understand that. You know, we live in a divorced world or not married world. We live in a broken world. We live in a frustrated world. People die. Like, you guys understand that. But you, right now, exist. You exist for a purpose and a reason, I believe. You were designed by a God who loves you and created you for that designed purpose that he has for you. I believe that it doesn't happen on happenstance or it doesn't happen because of chance. I believe all of this happens, and this video kind of sums it all together. Make sense? All right, so we're going to watch this video. Make sure my volume's up on my on the Mac. You ready? And then give me a blackout. Tech team. Ugh. I'm just kidding. Blackout. Just click. Just turn everything off. 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 Ta-da! They did it. Give them a round of applause.
I am confused. Being philosophically consistent and being a very honest person, I'm sure you can tell me where God came from. And in addition, once you've told me where God comes from, please try to clarify how you can figure that a spiritual force can have an impact on a material universe to create it. I think that some years ago we already talked about that kind of thing in philosophical circles at any rate, by posing the question, if angels are made of spiritual matter and a pen is made of material matter and spiritual matter displaces no space, how many angels can dance on the tip of a pen? I have a sense of sort of reversal experience here, but please do, go ahead.
You got 5 minutes. Now, I just want to know which question.
That's all right. You may take the rest of the minute.
We're supposed to do one question at a time. Which one would you like? That was part of the format for the debate. So which question?
I want you to fill in the story of the rest of the beginning of the universe. God, spiritual matter, impact on material matter.
Okay. So 2 questions. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Your question, where did God come from, assumes that you're thinking of the wrong, obviously it displays that you're thinking of the wrong God, because the God of the Bible is not affected by time, space, or matter. If he's affected by time, space, or matter, he's not God. Time, space, and matter is what we call a continuum. All of them have to come into existence at the same instant, because if there were matter but no space, where would you put it? If there were matter and space but no time, when would you put it? You cannot have time, space, or matter independently. They have to come into existence simultaneously. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heaven, there's space, and the earth, there's matter. So you have time, space, matter, created a trinity of trinities there. Just, time is past, present, future. Space has length, width, height. Matter has solid, liquid, gas. You have a trinity of trinities created instantaneously. And the God who created them has to be outside of them. If he's limited by time, he's not God. The guy who created this computer is not in the computer. He's not running around in there changing the numbers on the screen, okay? The God who created this universe is outside of the universe. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it. He's unaffected by it. So the concept that a spiritual force cannot have any effect on a material body, well then I guess you'd have to explain to me things like emotions and love and hatred and envy and jealousy and rationality. I mean, if your brain is just a random collection of chemicals that form by chance over billions of years, how on earth can you trust your own reasoning processes and the thoughts that you think? Okay, so your question, where did God come from, is assuming a limited God. And that's your problem. The God that I worship is not limited by time, space, or matter. If I could fit the infinite God in my 3-pound brain, he would not be worth worshiping, that's for certain. So that's the God that I worship. Thank you.
I am confused. Being philosophically consistent and being